Hello and welcome to WRC on TCHUB. I'm joined by Nicholas. No, my name is Nicholas Jones, and this is a roundup of the first round in Monte Carlo. But first, let's say hello to our guests, our regular correspondent Ash Mayer, and we are joined by Hugo Segato. Hugo, welcome.
Hi guys, thank you.
And first of all, before we get into the roundup of the rallying, might want to ask you, Hugo, what got you into rallying?
Oh, I'll try to make it short to be concise. For as long as I remember, my parents used to be huge rally fans. Going to all the locals rallies in France. For anyone that's listening, if you live in France and you know the Rallye de la Montagne Noire in Mazamet, I used to go there when I was a kid. Then I got my PS2 from my brother, and I had many games, rally games. Colin McCree 2004, 2005, WRC Championship, all these games, and I just played them a lot. I still have them. I have the copies right there in my eyesight. Really good games. And then, well, as life went on, I did my studies in the industry. Well, it's not directly rally. I was working in all the internal combustion engine sector, and I still followed the motorsports. I got into F1 more before going into the WRC, but as a huge fan of motorsports, I had to go back to the WRC one day, and then so I started following. I'd say the first year I started watching it was like 2017 or 2018. It was, I think, a bit after the prime of rally, but still quite enjoyable. And well, now I watch it if I've got time. It's hard to manage between Formula One, the WEC, and now the WRC. But it's always one of the sports I enjoy the most, to make it simple.
Right. Thanks for that bit of information, Hugo. Hi, Ash. Hi, Ash. We've what an amazing rally of Monte Carlo, and everything and everything the way it was. You just couldn't have written the script.
Nicholas, what a start to the season. I mean, from the get-go, we had conditions, we had drivers all over the place trying to find the grip levels with the tires, trying to find the balance of the car. It was an absolute start to the season. Look, if this is how it goes throughout the year, it's going to be a phenomenal season, Nicholas.
Yes, indeed, and the action started straight away on day one. Thierry Neuville, he led the nighttime stages, but going into the bulk of the action on Friday, it all just went wrong for him.
Yeah, no, look, I think it's a bit uncanny of Neuville to make so much errors going into the first rounds of the WRC. He seemed to be hesitant on the choice of tires also. So going into the Monte Carlo, it was very uncanny for him to make so much mistakes. And plus he made the same mistake on the exact same hairpin, which cost him so much time going into the next round of stages. So I hope he'll bounce back in the rounds to come. But if it's going to carry on like this, that he's going to have to find his feet with the new tire manufacturer, it's going to be a long road for Thierry Neuville.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit the same for everyone. So sure, Neuville, twice the same mistake, the same corner. But as you mentioned, the new Hankook tires, everybody's got to adapt with them. And he's not the only one that makes mistakes. So of course, he's the world champion, that's for sure. We all expect a bit more from him coming into the first stage of the season. So many mistakes, now 6 in the standings. It's only the first round at the same time, but that's 20 points. No, 17 points before Evans, bit down in the standings. But he's not the only one that's made mistakes. So I'm sure he will bounce back. He's still a world champion. He wasn't world champion last year for no reason. I'm not that scared for Neville. But sure, I was a bit disappointed too.
Yes, yes, indeed, and not only was Neville caught out, also Oit Tanak, a double whammy for Hyundai, but Oit he did not let that affect him. Okay, he made the mistakes on day. Okay, he made the mistakes on day 2, but come day 4, he was challenging for the podium.
Yeah, no, look, going into the Monte Carlo Rally, Oitanik was on the money, but it comes down to the tires. Every driver is trying to find the grip, and with the conditions, with the icy conditions, what happened was the first drivers that went out, and this is what Carlo Vampera mentioned, that when the first drivers went out, they were throwing mud onto the track, and the following drivers would catch the mix of the black ice and the mud, so that made it even more trickier with the new tires. Oitanek got lucky on that banking where he caught the right rear. He got away with it, but to Nouvelle wasn't so lucky.
I think more than luck. Yeah, sure, the many crashes, though the conditions were tricky, but I think they were a bit trickier than most of the time. The ice, yeah, but the temperatures in general were not so chill. So there were some stages on pure asphalt. So sure, mistakes. The tire choice, as you mentioned, was very, very hard to get. Neville wasn't lucky. Tanak was lucky. But when you look at Ogier, he did mistakes too. He still won. So I think it's a mix between those new tires, the tricky conditions, and when it comes down to the individual scale, you can't just beat Ogier on Monte Carlo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sebastian Ogier, Mr. Monte Carlo, 10 wins. Okay, 10 wins. What a record in itself. I mean, he's broken almost every record in the book. But for him, this was just epic.
What more can I say about Sebastian Ogier? From the get-go, he was on the money. A little bit of errors here and there, but like you said, he's Monte Carlo master, and he's proven it once again. He's setting records, and a 10th win for Sebastian Ogier. It's just a pity that he's obviously now not going to have a full season. But I mean, what a start to the Monte Carlo for Sebastian Ogier. And you know, it'd be sad to see him go one day, but what a brilliant round by Sebastian Ogier, and huge congratulations to him and Toyota.
Yeah, you can say everything you want about Ogier, but when it comes down to pure speed, to the mastery of tricky conditions, is the man you want. I mean, 10 victory at the same rally. First of all, it's a record for sure. Even Lobs did not achieve to get 10 times a victory. Sure, he got now 8 wins, I think, in Catalonia in Germany, if I recall correctly. But 10 times when in such a long career, with all the breaks he had, all the moments he could have ever imagined to live, winning 10 times, just you can't say anything bad about this achievement.
No, you certainly can't. And there were 2 wild cards in this event that we did not expect to do well. I mean, we're going to start with Elvin Evans. He actually led for part of the rally, but over time he just had to give second best to Sebastian Ogier.
Well, look, if you look at Evans, he grabbed a stage 1 on stage 3. I mean, he had a pretty solid Monte Carlo. For him, I think going forward, we can only see more and more improvements for him. And the way the Toyota is set up, they seem to find the balance of the car, and they are seeming to come to grips with a new tire much faster than Hyundai. So it's going to be one major battle between Toyota and Hyundai. And who's to say we might have it's early days, but who's to say we might have a new champion on the horizon in Alvins, because he's driving brilliantly.
Yeah, it was a strong rally from Evans, and coming from the 23-24 season, was already looking strong. Sure, he was fast, but again, when you look at how the standing is going, with so many good drivers and so many, not crashes, there were light accidents. In these kind of conditions, it's more than being the fastest driver. It's always about consistent. You get what I mean. You need to finish the rally. Some of them did not. Neville was lucky to finish it. Tanak as well. Evans didn't do too many mistakes. He was fast for sure. But if you don't do any mistakes and if you're the only one that crosses the line at the end, you win. Of course, there's always him on top. But for Evans, sure, display of speed and a display of concentration all throughout the weekend.
Yes, indeed, and someone else who impressed me a lot was Adrian Formo on his high-end debut. Was as high as second at one point because he was in that fight with Evans, but third place for the first time for your new team. That's something not to be sniffed at.
No, not at all, Nicholas. I mean, coming into a new team, new setup. Once again, I'll mention it, the new tires. I mean, he's ran a solid Monte Carlo race, and after the ups and downs of last year, he seemed to be in that frame of mind. Okay, well, let me put that behind me. Let's have a clean slate and let's go into this next season, because obviously the hybrid system is gone, so you don't have those technical issues. So it's fair play to everyone. It's back to proper rallying. So for Mo has seen it. Well, look here, let me go for podiums. Maybe you can say you'll go for the title, but he's going into the season with a clear mindset and clear goals. And he's got a proper manufacturer behind him compared to last year with the financial woes.
Yeah, going for the title, I think it's very, very early to say. So sure, very strong rally from him. I've always been a fan of Former. Of course, my French DNA is kind of tricking me to loving the guy. Strong rally for sure. What's more impressive for him? Sure, coming into a new team, it's always hard. But when you come into a new team and your two teammates or Tanak and Neuville, you have so much expectation on you, and he delivered. A third place. I hope someday he's going to be able to break out of this third place course. It's best result of his career multiple times. Never second. Still yet to win a rally, but I think his time will come. To say it's going to be in the fight for the title, it's only the first rally. There's a lot more to go. And with the like of Tanak and Neuville in the same team, and with Evans, as we mentioned, very strong this year, I think we'll have to wait until I think Portugal or Italy to really say if he is in the race.
Yes, I 100%. I 100% agree with you. I think Formo, I think Formo's time will come when he finally wins a rally. And one person that definitely defied expectations because we didn't think he would do very well enough at this event was Gregoire Munster. Retired early on, but then came back and he only went and won his first stage.
Yeah, no, look, brilliant Monte Carlo by Munster to win his stage. Making an error on the next one, but I gotta give him his dues. I mean, he had a solid Monte Carlo, and big ups to him for coming through. I mean, he really needed that boost to go into the season, and I think he'll only improve going into the 2025 season. I mean, Monte Carlo was a test for majority of the drivers, so I think for Munster it's a big boost.
Yeah, but as I mentioned before, it's great to win stages, but you need to finish the rally. You need to go to the end. You need to cross all the lines. So sure, big congrats to him. It's a huge achievement in a career. I hope it's going to launch this year, but he needs more consistent. I don't know how to say this word again. He needs to finish the stages. Too many mistakes. So sure, big congrats, but you got to do more if you want to make your name. So of course, it's driving with Ford. We all know Ford is not in the best shape right now. I hope they can step up to the likes of Toyota and Hyundai this year, but they need a strong driver. They need a driver fast. He is for sure, but they need to avoid mistakes. And I hope for them. I hope this first stage win is going really to push him to reach for greater goods in the future. We'll have to see again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was absolutely gutted when I heard that. When I heard he retired on the final day by going off, and the same face also befell Sami Pajari and Takamoto Katsuta. Pajari's crash was a lot more spectacular, but thankfully both he and his co-driver walked away. I still think there's more to come from the reigning WRC2 champion.
Yeah, no, look, most definitely. It was an unfortunate accident by Sami Pajari because of the inexperience. He pushed a little bit too hard over the bridge, and it seemed as if the rear came out and went over the bridge. And obviously, the car was a complete write-off. But for him to come into the Monte Carlo and be pushing at that pace, I think there's so much to come from the Rally 2 championship going into the 2025 season. So I would be best to keep an eye on him because he's got the pace and he's got the hunger to get hopefully stage wins and see maybe on the podium. But well done to him. Unfortunate about the accident, but I mean that's the nature of Monte Carlo. You have your ups, you have your downs, you have your crashes. It's absolute mayhem from the get-go.
Yeah, a huge crash. It's quite rare to see these kind of crashes this day. I was a bit worried when I saw it, but then again, the safety of these cars is always to be mentioned. It's very reassuring to know that this driver are very safe. Pajari, yeah, I'm a bit, I don't know about Pajari. First stage with Toyota, first rally this year, it didn't deliver, and it wasn't the fastest driver altogether compared to Munster. Munster was fast. He won the stage, had a crash, game over, happens. Pajari, sure he pushed, he tried, got into a crash, and getting into a crash without providing anything else. That's a bit disappointing for Toyota and for the team and for himself, and I hope he can bounce back.
Yes, I certainly hope so too. But Kalle Rovanperä, first time back in the WRC. He, from what I heard, he really struggled on the new tires.
Well, look, from what I picked up, what Kalle Rovanperä said is that obviously now he's coming to Monte Carlo. He doesn't know the stages very well. Given now, obviously with the tire manufacturer, he did mention that he was struggling from day one, and he was actually playing it. Because look, for him to finish fourth is brilliant in itself. He didn't push. He tried to find his feet. You could see on, I think it was Friday, where he was very reluctant to take some of the corners. But for him, look, fourth is not bad. He's never been a big fan of Monte Carlo, so we'll see a definite improvement come the following rounds.
I mean, not a big fan of Monte Carlo. Yeah, of course you can have your favorite rally, your least favorite one, but still Monte Carlo. If you want to be considered amongst the best, you need to perform at this kind of stages. You need to be there. You need to be fast. You need to be bold. He tried. Fortunately, it's a bit hard to say. Again, the final standing, sure, he came fourth. That's great. A bit far off from Ogier, but then again, who's close to Ogier this weekend? No one. A whole minute nearly to Ogier. That's good. can be better. But then again, when you look at how many drivers got in the rally at first, how many finished, coming in fourth, yeah, it's as well as a display of speed. As I said many times, he was one of the 7 drivers in WRC that crossed the line, so he can get a spot. I'm not sure. I like the guy. Not sure if for the next stages and the next rally he can be at the same level. I hope so. We'll have to see.
Yes, yes, we will have to see indeed. But congratulations must surely go to Josh McAlean for finishing in the points on his first rally in a top level car. There's not many people that can have said they done that.
What an absolute start by Josh McAlean. I gotta give him props. I mean, for a rookie to come in and be in the top 10 in Monte Carlo, one of the most difficult rallies with the conditions, with the tires and everything just being thrown at you. I mean, for Josh McAlean to finish 7th is an absolute brilliant Monte Carlo for him. And I think it'll just boost his confidence going into the WRC. I mean, I see huge potential from Joshua McAlean. Always, I mean, with Ford, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but he pulled it out the bag at Monte Carlo, and I'm gonna keep my eye on him going into the season. It was absolute brilliant start for Josh McAlean.
I always say that WRC is both a mix of speed and endurance. The speed, it wasn't there yet. Of course, first rally coming in with the big guys in the Ford, it's a bit hard to be the fastest, but he had the endurance. The endurance. He came to the end. He finished the rally, scored 7. That's good. He needs to work on that. Now he needs to build his confidence with the car, go a bit faster. But I mean, huge congrats, first of all, to just finishing the Monte Carlo Rally. That's an achievement not everybody can do. When you look at some more experienced driver that did not finish the rally, he finished ahead, so that's good points for him.
Yes, yes, and a special mention must also go to the winner of WRC2, Johan Rossell in the Citroen. Now we take a look at the championship standings, with all points taken into account, including Super Sunday and the Power Stage. Sébastien Ogier leads the series on 33 points. Elvin Evans, second on 26. He won the maximum points on Super Sunday, by the way. Formo, third. Rovanperä, fourth. And Tanak rounding out the top 5. But chaps, as we all know, the standings can change.
Yeah, no, most definitely. If you look at the standings, look, Sébastien Ogier, obviously a masterclass in Monte Carlo, but that's just one round of a long season, and anything can change. I mean, there's so many different things being thrown at the rally this season, with the hybrid system gone, with tires, and now we've mentioned it so many times with regards to that, but we have to take it in consideration because the rallies that are coming up, we have gravel, we have snow. So and I forgot to mention this, by the way, that during the Monte Carlo rally, we had some manufacturers that were running studs on the rear tires and studs on the front tires and slicks on the rears, and some were doing counter swaps to find to get the balance of the car. So it was all about finding your feet in Monte Carlo. So we might see this going into the next rounds of running super softs and studs, or it's completely a wild card of a season this year.
Yeah, the standings can change and they will change. But first of all, note that Ogier won't be there in Sweden. We don't know his full calendar yet, so no idea if he's going to be back. I don't know, maybe in Spain. I hope so. No idea if he's going to be really in the title race, missing so many rallies. We'll have to see how he decides how he wants to approach this season. So if you take out the Ogier of the equation, you have Evans with 26, you have Former with 20, Rovanperä 18. Those 3 are already pretty close. But the standing will change. As I said a bit before, wait until Spain, Portugal, Italy these three stages, and then you can look at a good look at can take a good look at the standing and make up your mind. I hope Formo is going to have great results. We'll have to see in Sweden. As you mentioned with the tires, what I'm waiting for is the Catalonia Rally in Spain, because with the asphalt, the super softs is really going to be the rally where the tires are going to be pushed, and we'll see if Hankook manage to make good tires this year. We'll have to wait for Spain, and I'm quite excited for this season. A lot of the cars are back on the table, and I think we're going in the right direction for WRC.
Whilst the drivers' championship might look very close, the manufacturers' championship looks a lot more clear cut, as Ash pointed out. Toyota leading on 60 points, Hyundai second, with M Sport Ford a long way behind on 11. Ash, the stats agree with you.
Oh yes, most definitely. Look, Toyota came into this Monte Carlo with 4 points in the bag, and they're sitting on 60. Hyundai are sitting on 36. And it seems to me as Toyota have come to grips with this tire much more faster than Hyundai, and they're willing to experiment with the different tire compounds compared to Hyundai, where you could see Oitanek and Nouvelle were very skeptical. It was coming on Friday, with a very skeptical of with running with studs and super softs, whether on front or rear, where Sebastian Ogier was running on some cases full studded tires. So it's honestly a mixed bag. And then you have M Sport, which again, like last season, they are struggling. They are on 11 points. So look, the gap might not look big now between Toyota and Ford, but I mean, with the package that Toyota have got at the moment, they look pretty solid. But like what was being said, we'll see going towards Portugal and how things change and how these manufacturers can adapt to the new tires. So far, it looks like Toyota have the upper hand on Hyundai.
Yeah, Toyota's got a very stable car. From what we can see on the onboards, the few footage we have of the Toyota this rally, it was very, very smooth driving. The Toyota seems a bit easier to drive, but I think it will all come down to how they can set up the car around the new tires, as you mentioned. I think Hyundai is a bit behind in this domain. The car seems a bit more tricky to drive. But then again, I'm not worried about them when you got Tanak and Neville. They're going to make a big addition to the setup of the car. They've got the experience. They just need to figure out how they can work around these tires, and then I think it will be better. But then again, Tanak and Neville this weekend, bad results when you look at it. So the manufacturer standing is not close, but I don't think it's going to stay this far apart. Of course, excluding M Sport, I don't think this year they're going to be much of a threat. So then again, sadly, it's going to be between Toyota and Hyundai, but I think it's going to be very, very close, and it will depend a lot on the different rallies. I see Hyundai being a bit stronger than Toyota on the likes of Italy and Spain, to be honest.
So we're a long way from the likes of Portugal and Italy, which will come about a bit later in the year. But we now turn our attention to the next round, which is Rally Sweden, and that will be played out between the 13th and 16th of February. So from little snow in Monte Carlo to the full white stuff. What are you looking forward to about Sweden?
Well, look, once again, I'm just loving the start of the season and going into to Sweden with the snow, with Kalle Rovanperä back for a full season. He is the snowmeister, so we might see a brilliant result from him. When we've got OJ also, we want Tanek and Nouvelle to bounce back also. So you've got so much drivers in contention for stage wins. Don't even forget about Evans. So it's the top 10 are so many brilliant drivers that can take stage wins and get podiums. So going into Sweden, it's going to be absolute blast.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fun rally, I think. A huge expectation on Roundup for sure. OG won't be there. He announced he will be back in Kenya. 5 Toyotas against 3 Hyundais, where the usual drivers, and 1 private Toyota driven by Lorenzo Bertelli. 3 Hyundais with Neville, Tanak, and Formo. It's going to be very close. We all boil down to who's going to master the tires. Then again, on the snow, very difficult conditions. But I can see Rovanpera doing great, and I hope Formo can show how good he is on the snow.
Yes. Yes, I hope so too. And also, M Sport will have a third car prepared for Latvian driver Martin Šešs, who impressed many people last year. We haven't seen him on the snow, but Sweden will be a good chance for him to show how versatile he is.
Yeah, no, look, most definitely. It's good to have him in the car, and Sweden will be a real test for a lot of the drivers. But I'll keep my eye on him, and I'm looking forward to Sweden.
Yeah, M Sport 3 car, more 4 cars. Jordan Saderidis will be present for Sweden. Although of course he's not going to compete for the win. So yeah, 4 with 3 cars and a 4th one, but a bit in the other category. But I hope they can bounce back. I hope Munster is going to learn from his mistakes in Monte Carlo. I hope McCullaghan will show how good he is as well on the snow, different conditions. But I hope he can be fast as well. And I don't see them very high up in the standings on the 16th of February, but we'll have to see. It's a different rally, and if there is as much competition as in Monte Carlo, I'm eager to see how it's going to go down.
One more thing before we go. Who was your driver of the rally and why?
Look, I mean, take a wild guess. It has to be the maestro, the one and only Sebastian Ogier, the Monte Carlo king. I mean, he from day one, he had an absolute brilliant race, and he kept it on the road. Minor errors here and there, but he came to grips with the new tires much quicker than the other drivers, and the conditions. He came to grips also, and he found the balance of the car much more quicker than his opponents. But look, for me, once again, Sebastian Ogier with his 10 wins. I mean, what more can I say? Who can beat him? I mean, it's an absolute record, and huge congratulations to Ogier.
I mean, you can't say anything else than Ogier. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the man, for sure. I admit it. I would love to say Former was the driver of the weekend, but you just can't. You can't pick anyone else besides Ogier. He was fast. He went to the end. He was quick. He was agile. Everything good you can say about him applies, and the record, everything is pointing towards Ogier. You can't say anything else.
Right, thanks, chaps. That wraps up our coverage of WRC on TCHUB of the Monte Carlo Rally. My thanks to Hugo and Ash for giving me their insightful contributions and opinions. And we will see you in Sweden. Goodbye.